as a kind of therapy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely for soldiers who've been through the shit, you know, it's a way of like reprogramming them because their dreams like are nightmarish, and if you could get them to have some control over it, then it's really helpful.
And that can hop over to something else.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking crazy.
A lot of my students want to do lucid dreaming, but I'm like, I don't even want to have that control. I want to relinquish control at night when I go to sleep. I don't want to fucking control stuff.
Yeah, I want to see what kind of crazy ass stuff comes up. Yeah.
I can think of a couple of things.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Yeah. I'll tell you, actually, the flying thing. I had a flying dream not too long ago. That I'd never had one of those before, where people talk about they fly in dreams. It feels great.
it feels great, and I've only had it a couple of times.
Me too.
I had a thing that it was a recurring thing for a period of a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went away. I wish it'd come back. But I had the ability I couldn't fly. It's not like I could start flapping my wings on flew. I had the ability to jump up. I felt light as a balloon.
Yeah.
I could jump up and float around the house.
Nice.
And look down.
Nice.
Or I could be out in the field. I could jump up and I could be in the trees and the birds and I could see everything. But it didn't last. After a while it would start to sink back down and then I would jump again. But I was totally in control of getting off the ground and going up there. I just couldn't fly.
That's really cool.
And then when I was a little kid, I had two recurring dreams, which are really disturbing. One of them, I think it was because when I was a kid, they had like the Red Scare, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And it was during the, Cuban Missile Crisis, different things, like when I was really small. And so maybe I just heard the adults talking, but I would, in this dream, all I did was jump up in the air, and I stayed in the air, but I was way up there. And then, those fighter jets that have the pointy, sharp thing on the end, it's like a big, whatever.
It's like an antenna thing.
And it would stab me right through the middle, like the solar plexus.
Wow.
Jesus.
But I didn't feel it because it stopped before it actually happened.
Wow.
That's Billy Bob Thornton and Paul Giamatti talking about out-of-body experiences, OBEs, though they don't refer to it as that. I think they're mistakenly calling them lucid dreams. I guess they're just unaware. They do mention that lucid dreaming is when you can control your dreams, but they keep describing an out-of-body experience where you can't see your astral body, though they don't refer to it as astral body because they don't know about it yet. They don't possess the vocabulary. But it's still a very fascinating podcast episode. It was the first episode of Paul Giamatti's podcast. It's called Chinwag, and it premiered April 5th, 2023. And they just rebroadcast or reissued, I don't even know what you fucking call it, a funny episode they did with Patton Oswalt, whose brain moves like a lightning rod, like mine. And I feel exhausted sometimes when I have phone conversations with my friends. And after they did the episode with Patton Oswalt, they both confessed, wow, he exhausted us. And I feel like I have the same effect on people when you get me started. So, not necessarily a bad thing, but it could be. I just have to be aware of it. Anyway, that's a very dreamscapey tune medley, naive thing I wrote. And I thought it would be good accompanied by some dreamscape-ish words, and it takes me back to the beginning of the JSE. I'm so glad that our first album was the B-Sides album, The Trouble Beneath. The unintended first album, as time went on, proved to be the correct first album, and I'm so glad because the JSE can be just, a song that's a part A and a part B. It doesn't have to be all the bells and whistles. It doesn't have to be a radio hit single. I like the idea of a band that, doesn't have to have an immense pressure to, everything to be perfect to chart and perform. I like the idea of a band that could just be like a simple little naive melody like that, And if that was going to appear on an album, I would produce it, and, I would add some synths, definitely, maybe some nice percussion, maybe some, doctored up drum loops like I did on the song I wrote about Mike Finnerty. What the fuck is the name of that song? The one that's like, I see you've been crying, I know song, but that's just a cool drum loop of me tapping on my thigh, and I put a low pass filter on it. And then Fairy Pet has my favorite percussion like of all time, the acoustic version. Okay, rambled on enough. Peace and love. J Sharp Esquire.